Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to ApexRacingTV's coverage of the IMSA Sportscar Championship here for season number 3 of the iRacing official series for the IMSA Sportscar Championship. My name's Scott Newton. Sadly, Daniel Leap will not be joining me this evening, but certainly we are in for some quality racing as always, as we covered the season 2 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship last season, and that was a cracking series that we were able to bring to you on Apex Racing TV. Just wanted to quickly go through the series winners from the last season, just the overall podiums for the various classes. So pretty much no surprise, we had Blake Neck taking out the overall championship on 1,054 points after 8 weeks counted. Evolution Race, and he was driving for Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing. And then in second place for the Daytona prototype was Johan Hart for Evolution Racing Team. After 8 weeks counted, he was only 23 points behind the overall winner in Black Neck. So very, very close battle throughout this whole championship. And Tandem McCullough running out the top 3 a little bit further back with 860 points. In the GTE category, we get Augustine Canapino taking out that championship on 1,985 points. And in second place, Fulvio Barazzini on 1,852 points, and Romano Baranic on 1,798 points. So just under 200 points covering the top 3 in the GTE overall category, which is very, very close. And then in GT3 overall, we had Manuel Weibel on 1,328 points, taking out the championship in that category. Soren Kolodzic on 1,209 points, and very, very close in the third position was Lorenz van Oort on 1,208 points. So the gap between second and third was only 1 point, so very, very close there. But yeah, which now brings us on to season 3 for the IMSA Sportscar Championship. Here we've had a very, very big split. Tonight I think I saw over 91 sign-ups, so that's very, very good to see. A bigger split between all of the classes today. I see that there is at least 7 Daytona prototypes, which is very, very good to see. Then we've got I think 16 GTE class drivers, and then in the GT3 category we've got 10 drivers in that category as well. So today we have 33 overall drivers in tonight's field, the 10:45 AM GMT split. But yeah, I'm just going to see if we can give you a bit of a provisional standings, as we've got Tim Greven currently on the provisional pole position with a 1 minute 39.74. Carl Jansen for Core Sim Racing in second place. John Emerson rounding at the top 3 at this time. In the GTE category, we've got Daniel Benefield currently in the provisional pole position, Anar Marinsky in the second place, and Daniel Scrivens in the third place. And in the GT3 category, we've got Fraser Williamson. Just as I say that, Martin Christensen has retaken the provisional pole at the moment for the GT3 category. So Fraser Williamson gets knocked out of the second place. He was a series regular last season, which is good to see that some of the drivers that are in this category in this field tonight are series regulars from the last season. So it's good to see them back. And in the third place, provisionally at the moment, is Martin Hallinan, provisionally there. So just going to see if we can see Corey Odd at the moment. This is coming around the Lesmos at the moment. First Lesmos running it as wide as he can at the moment. And out of the second Lesmo he goes, building up quite a bit of speed, as you want to try and get the best surface as you can going up to Ascari. Normally you're hitting about 260 kilometers up into this section, hard braking, about 100 meters before the corner. Trying to try and take as much of the curb as you can on the inside there. Trying to avoid that second part of Ascari as you'll bounce into the outside wall, as I've done many times in practice. But yeah, just coming around the final corner now. We've got 7 seconds left of qualifying at the moment. See whether he can actually get it to the line, but sadly I don't think he will, as yeah, the qualifying is just concluded. So to the grid we go for round number 1 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship here for Season 3 on ApexRacingTV. We have Tim Greven taking the pole position, 1 minute 39.739. Carl Jansen only a 10th behind, but very close for the front row. John Emerson in 3rd position, Corey Ott in 4th, Shannon Manning in 5th, Brad Klink in 6th, and Simon Mazzomo in 7th position, and running at the Daytona Prototype field in the GTE category. Tony Benefield takes out the pole position and 8th overall. Anar Marinsky in 9th, Ferris Stanley running out the 10th position overall. Sadi Laguerre in 11th, Dylan Scrivens in 12th, Patrick Richter in 13th, Emily Jones in 14th, Phil Morton in 15th, Frederick Jorgensen in 16th, Dennis Schroeder in 17th, Aaron Stanley in 18th, Clint Smith in 19th, and running out the top 20 is Jay Cole. Philip Kraus in 21st, Slaven Korluka in 23rd, Michele Sangali in 23rd, and running out the GTE field. In the GT3 category, taking the pole position in that category was Martin Christensen in 24th overall, Fraser Williamson in 25th, Martin Hallinan in 26th, Abel Aznar in 27th, Michael Bolden in 28th, Didier Robel in 29th, Jacques Swainpole, series regular from last season, in 30th position, Mitch Oliver in 31st, Troy Maguire in 32nd, and running at the overall field was Justin Clayton. So luckily we've got a shorter pace lap here compared to other tracks tonight, but in the series. But just having a quick glance at the weather, if I can bring that one up on screen. So it's currently evening conditions here at Monza tonight. So as the time of day is running at 9:30 p.m. I've got winds of 9 kilometers an hour. That will be southeasterly, with an ambient temperature of 24 degrees and humidity of 47%, overcast skies. So be very cold for the drivers out there tonight, so plenty of grip out there. And we'll see how they go tonight for tonight's event. But yeah, you'll see that there's lots of gaps out there for the various classes out there. Each of the drivers giving lots of respect. But I'm sure that we'll have some very class battles out there tonight, as the pace car is just about to round the final corner, and we wait for Tim Greven to take to the green flag. So the pace car's in, and we're just waiting on Tim to get a jump, and away we go. So
go, green flag.
So Greven gets a great start, and Jansen just has to fall in behind. We see that we're going too wide between Corey Ott and John Emerson. Shannon Manning and Mazzomo and Klink running out the field in that category. So Benefield's managed to get a solid start in the GTE category. It seems as though they're going too wide into the first chicane, but everyone's getting through consistently. Martin Christensen from Radicals Online has got a great start, and into turn 1 he'll be able to take the first corner and get out of that safely as he can. It was Fraser Williamson's riding behind and challenging him for the class lead at this time, but it looks as though that everyone's managed to get safely through, which is great to see. Only Aaron Stanley has taken to the pit lane, so I'm not sure what's happened to him, but other than that, it seems as though that everyone's pretty much gotten away scot-free. Taking a look at the overall lead at the moment, see that Janssen is putting on some pressure as Grevin runs wide. He'll get a slowdown penalty for that, for sure. As Janssen takes the lead. I think Tim's just trying to clear his slowdown penalty at the moment. It's very, very costly on lap number 1 as he's lost another 2 positions. Corey Ott finds himself in second. Emerson rounding out the top 3 at the moment. Grevin falling in line. Emerson trying to go defensive at the moment, but also trying to overtake Corey Ott. Oh, is he can't pull it up, and looks as though that he tries to hold on to second place, but looks as though that Manning has profited from that as well. He finds himself in third place. Soon to see Corey Ott moving back as well from the contact. Seems as though it's going very, very slow. See that the GTE field of Benefield, Marinsky and Stanley are closing up on this prototype field. See how Benefield handles this one as he's trying to make his way through the field. Just looking through your GTE field at the moment, I'll see that Shannon Manning has fallen off the track at the second Lismo. He will try and gather that one back up, but it looks as though that he's having to wait for everyone to go through, and he manages to get back in 21st overall. He's just coming up onto the back of Philip Krause at the moment. Having said that though, Lagieri and Scrivens, also Patrick Richter. This battle pack for 10th overall, 4th to 7th in class, all covered by about 2 seconds in terms of track distance. Looks as though that Lagieri's going on the attack to Ferris Stanley, but not able to pull it off. Having said that, though, he's lost time to Scrivens, and he'll be looking to challenge throughout this podium position. Just going to bring up the cars that everyone's in, so it looks as though that it's fairly dominated by Ferraris, with that one Porsche of Patrick Richter. Having said that though, I would have thought that this would have been a Ferrari dominated track, given that the fact that it's got a very high top speed in GTE. So that's why everyone's in that car tonight for the GTE, bar one. Having said that though, in the GT3 category at the moment, we've got the battle pack of Christensen, Williamson and Cool at the moment. Line of stone pretty much. Actually Cool's in the GTE category, so interesting to see how he'll be able to get past the front two of the GT3 category have broken away. You've got a roughly about a 3.2 second gap to Martin Hallinan, who sits third at the moment. He's got Michele Sangali at the moment behind him in the GTEs. Is this just trying to make his way through? That Mercedes is very, very quick at a straight line. He'll have the defensive line into the Parabolica. But yeah, with that downforce that the Ferrari has, he'll be able to carry the momentum through the corner, they'll be alongside. Having said that though, will the Ferraris have a lunge up the inside? It looks as though he will. And he gets the job done, so very, very nice move there from Sangali to move up. I see that Phil Morton's has had a bit of an incident. We'll see whether we can quickly bring that one up. Oh, it's the one there. Oh. Here we go. So there we go. So we've got the Daytona prototype of. So the Daytona prototype's just been there on the inside, and that blue Ferrari there has not seen him, and that's unfortunately what's happened to Phil Morton. That's taking him out of the event. So an unfortunate event there for Phil, but yeah, sadly he finds himself back in the 31st position at this time. So just taking stock of where we are at the moment in Daytona prototype. We've got Carl Janssen at the moment for Corsim Racing. Currently leading, he's got a 5.4 second gap over Tim Groven, and then in third place we've got Corey Ott, a further 4 seconds back, or 3.6 seconds gap. Closest battle at the moment in Daytona prototype is between Brad Klenk and Simon Mazzomo. I know Mazzomo is driving for FT1 Motorsport. As well, it's good to see him in the prototype category. I know that he drives the LMP1 for Oceanic Endurance Championship, so good to see him in another prototype tonight. But looking at the last lap times for between Mazzomo and Klenk, Mazzomo was about tenth and a half quicker than Klenk last time around, so it must have been a lap or so ago that Mazzomo was able to get past. But it looks as though that Klenk's holding on pretty well. Utilising that slipstream to great advantage. Having said that though, the gap's opened up to about 0.5 of a second. At the moment, we'll just have a look at the lap times around this time by. So 41.3 for Mazzomo and Klenk on a 43.3, so it must have been a mistake there for Klenk that's allowed Mazzomo through. Laguerre on, let's see, the trying to get past Scrivens, but unable to do so. See that Patrick Richter in the Porsche is the only Porsche in the field tonight. Trying to get past as well, but sadly he's not able to do so. But in GTE, this is the closest battle at the moment. See if we can go on board Laguerre at the moment on the gearbox cam at the moment. Just look how close Richter is at this time. That shows you how close, roughly about a quarter of a second is. So you got the car number 6 of Scriven. So he's run wide, and that's allowed Laguerre to jump up into 4th position in class, 10th overall. So yeah, we'll just jump on board with Scrivens just quickly. See what kind of top speeds we're getting out of the Ferrari tonight. See that Richter's trying to close in on Laguerre at the moment, 0.3 of a second gap. Sadly, he's not able to close up as much as I would have thought. So, having said that, though, 270 kilometers an hour for Scrivens. Just going to have a quick look back up at the Daytona prototype field at the moment. We've got Corey Ott and John Emerson battling out for the final podium position at the moment. See that the gap is at 0.7 of a second at the moment, as you can see on the top left of your screen. See that also that Jansen's put in the fastest lap of the race of 1:40.2, so he's putting the hammer down pretty much on lap number 8 of this race, or starting lap number 8. Got 5.5 second gap over Tim Greven at this time, number 1 and 2 in this category and overall. It looks as though that Corey Ott was able to pull roughly about just over a quarter of a second last lap on John Emerson. So even though that little bit of damage on that front right hand corner of Ott's prototype machine, he's still able to pull a little bit of a gap. Just going over the De La Rosa chicane, which has allowed Emerson to close back in. But it looks as though that Scrivens as well is closed right up to Patrick Richter. He's got through. See whether he's able to hold on. See that Scrivens is... Sorry, Laguerre's putting pressure on Richter. See lots of action throughout the whole field tonight. It's obviously been great to watch. We've still got well over half an hour of this race, so we're not even a third of the way through the race distance, and there's been that much action. But Richter putting on about a 4/10 gap over Laguerre. As they're coming up into parabolic to start lap number 9. At this time, we'll see that Carl will probably be around Lesmo number 2 as we speak. But Scrivens closing up into the slipstream of Laguerre. But sadly he's not able to do anything about it. See that Richter's fallen a little bit behind. Schroeder's moved up into 6th position in class, and that'll also promote Emily Jones up into 7th position in class, 13th overall. So great showing from Emily to recover, but sadly she's lost a place from her starting position, but good to see that she's able to recover some positions at this time as we're coming up to 15 minutes elapsed. Just see if we can go on board Emily Jones's Ferrari, just to give the viewers a bit of an idea of what the Ferrari, or how the Ferrari handles the curbs around this Monza circuit. just seen the sector times from the last lap. So it was pretty consistent that Jones was able to close up a good couple of tenths the last lap. Sector 2 was the only sector where she lost time through the Della Roggia. But yeah, it looks as though that she's lost a little bit of time this lap, but we'll find out into the first sector. Yeah, just a tenth lost this time around. Quite a lot of curb there for Schroeder last time through there, but just managing to hold on. But yeah, it looks as though that for Emily Jones this lap has been fairly consistent. Cap has pretty much neutralised over the course of this lap. Still hovering around 0.4 of a second to 0.5, so just as we cross the line, bit of a connection issue there for Jones, just for about a second or so. Having said that though, yeah, she lost time this lap, so but having said that though, Richter is pretty much all over the back of the Ferrari of Emily Jones. Looking to apply some pressure to force an error, but it looks as though that Richter's not close enough this time around. Having said that though, we'll give you a bit of an update on the GT3 category at this time. Got Martin Christensen for Radicals Online, currently 2.6 seconds ahead of Fraser Williamson. And then Martin Hallinan still in the third position at the moment. Abel Asnar currently in fourth position. And running at the top 5 is Michael Bolden. So looks as though that the gaps are fairly stable in the GT3 category. The only really massive gap is between Martin Hallinan and Asnar. Currently it's 4 seconds and then a further 10 seconds from Hallinan to Williamson, so pretty much the front two are pretty much checked out in this category. Having said that though, see that Philip Kraus has taken to the pit lane, is with a 44.6 seconds pit lane time, 13.7 seconds stoppage time in the box. Having said that though, normally we've seen drivers pit from anywhere from about 15 minutes in all the way up until about, on average, about 35 minutes in, so it looks as though that that is holding true at this time. But last season we did have a few drivers at Mid-Ohio pit around the 40-minute mark, but that's been typically a low fuel burn circuit. So, but having said that though, with a track like Monza, you'd expect it to be a high fuel burn circuit, given the high throttle percentage that you're utilising throughout this track. As Corey Ott has decided to take to the pit lane, he's had enough of these tyres at this time in this fuel load, so he is into the pit lane. So we've got Mazzomo about to inherit the third position at this time. In the GTE category, still Laguerre, Schroeder, Jones, Richter, battle for fourth position through 8th Very, very close. Gap between these 5 drivers is no more than 1.8 seconds at this time. So this is the biggest grouping on the track. That's all within 2 seconds. See that Laguerre trying to put the pressure on Scrivens. To give you a bit of an idea of what 7 tenths of a second looks like between Scrivens and Laguerre. Seems as though that this gap's opened up over the course of the first half of this lap. Just running a little bit wide there on the exit of the second Lesmo. And saying that they were just going to have a look at the back of Laguerre's car. Looking at Schroeder at the moment, gap is about 4 tenths of a second, so this is the closest battle on the track at the moment. So Schroeder taking to the pit lane, thinks he can try and get an undercut on the 2 in front of him of Laguerre and Scrivens. Don't think he's going to be putting any pressure on Ferris Stanley at the moment. He's currently 3rd at this time. So, but having said that though, anything can happen. Just going to have a look at Corey Ott trying to make his way back through the GTE traffic at the moment. Who's that in front of him? That's John Emerson. So Emerson's managed to jump Corey Ott into the pits, but Emerson's gone wide. Had to take to the sleeping policeman there, and he might have some floor damage from that. We'll see how his top speed is affected. He'll have to potentially yield to the... Oh, see that Corey Ott's unfortunately run up the back of him, or run up the back of Emerson due to the differences in speed. Bit of an unfortunate event there for Corey and Emerson, as that was a looking like a pretty solid battle throughout this field. So we've passed the halfway distance. Currently running 24 minutes and 20 seconds into the race. So Scrivens is into the pit lane. Just going to see if I can... And Schroeder. So just going to see if I can get a bit of a track map up at the moment. Scrivens is into the pit lane at the moment. And Schroeder, where is he? He's coming right out of the parabolica right now, so Scrivens will be moving. Currently out of the pit lane right now, so see Schroeder coming up at full speed. See whether he can get the jump. It looks as though he will. And a great move there from Schroeder to get the jump on Scrivens. So he'll find himself in 11th position in class. Having said that though, he is the leader of the GTEs that are pitted. And saying that, you got I think that's Carl Jansen putting a lap down. Oh, sorry, putting these two a lap down. Also, see if I can get the Gueri into the picture as well, just to see where he comes out. It'll be interesting to see where he will jump into the fray once he has pitted. Same with Patrick Richter. They haven't pitted yet as Mizomo's into the pit lane for FT1 Motorsport. So that pretty much every GT3 car has pitted as well. So just as I see that the timing has crashed. So be able to bring you up live timing in just 1 minute's time. Apologies for that. I want to get everything reset here, which is kind of annoying, but sometimes these tech issues do happen. Yeah, just looking back at the GT3 field at the moment, just to bring up live the standings again. Michael Baldwin trying to put pressure on Michael Hallinan. Sorry, Martin Hallinan, sorry. Now, because live timing has unfortunately removed all of the timing and pit data that I had, it's kind of difficult to remember whether Hallinan is pitted, but I think from memory, everyone in the GT3 field did pit before the 28-minute mark, so this is a battle for position on track. So it's good to see that Bolden's managed to close up on the back of Hallinan, or potentially whether Hallinan's made a mistake. You see that last lap the lap delta is roughly about 8 seconds in the pit lane, so whether that was just a lower fuel number that Baldwin took compared to Hallinan, or whether that was a slowdown penalty or anything like that. We might have to find out after the race whether Martin or Michael will be able to jump in the driver interviews channel after the race. But yeah, this is the closest battle in GT3 at the moment. Final podium position. Bolden currently up 5 positions, so it's been a great event for the likes of Bolden. Seeing whether he can get a run. Just going to jump on board quickly. He's a little bit too far back, so sadly he's not unable to put any sort of pressure on Hallinan. But we'll have to wait and see how this battle brews. See that there's a bunch of people in the GT category in the pit lane, so see if we can get the track map up once again. See that Richter and Co are driving through. So it looks as though that Schroeder Scrivens has managed to get through. See that is that Emily Jones and Patrick Richter. Oh, I see that there's a bit of a tag there from Emily Jones, and that's sent Patrick Richter around. So it looks as though that Schroeder, with that undercut, has managed to get ahead of pretty much this whole battle pack of Scrivens and Gueri. I think he was ahead of Jones at the time. but also Richter as well. So he finds himself in the 4th position at the moment. Gap's only about a quarter of a second at this time, so also going to have a look at the battle for the GTE lead. Marinsky's managed to close up on Benefield. At this time, gap is only 0.7 of a second, so Marinsky's done a fantastic job to stay with Benefield. See if we can get a bit of an onboard, see what gap is looking like at this time. Closing right up under brakes there. Utilising the second part of the curb there. Turn 2. Gap still hovering at about just under 0.7 of a second. Last lap time for Benefield was a 2 minute 16.6, but that was his out lap, so compare that to 1 minute 44.0 for Marinsky, but it looks as though he's got a slow down penalty, or whether that's just letting Zomo through. Probably a combination of both, given the fact that he just went it straight away out of the way for the Daytona prototype. But yeah, it's actually been nice to see Monza in a fairly different time of day. Actually, normally, we got a AMG around at the exit of Ascari there. Who is that? It looks to be Michael Bolden. Oh no. Just have a quick look at that on replay now. He's got the final part of Ascari there, and that's looped him around, and yeah, it's an unfortunate error there from Bolden, who's currently fallen out of the top 5 in GT3, finds himself into the pit lane right now, so I think his event's pretty much over from there. He'll try and repair the damage, but might be too little too late, sadly, for Bolden, as he overshoots his pit box slightly. As Richter is also into the pit lane as well, I think, from that contact from Jones as well. So an update as we're rounding out coming up to 35 minutes elapsed into this race. So we've got Carl Jansen for Core Sim Racing in the overall lead at the moment. In second place we've got Tim Grevin. In second place Corey Ott in third. And Simon Mozomo in 4th position overall. That gap is 1 minute 10, covering the top 4 in Daytona prototype. Then the GTE field, we've got Daniel Benefield currently leading this class as we speak. 1.7 seconds gap to Marinsky, and then Stanley rounding out the top 3. Top 3 gap is just under 8 seconds in GTE. And then GT3 we've got Fraser Williamson currently leading in the Audi, just under 31 seconds ahead of Martin Hallonen and Didier Drobel in 3rd place. So top 3 in GT3 are covered by just under 37 seconds at this time. So fairly spread out gaps between the Daytona prototype and the GT3 categories, but still the GTE field is relatively close. See that John Emerson's trying to put an overtake on Michele Sangali. He's not going to be able to get through there, and wisely falls back in line. Currently 16th place overall, and 11th in class is Sangali. Haven't really seen much of Clint Smith today, but he's currently in 10th position in the GTE category. So 14th overall. Had a pretty quiet day, but certainly stayed out of trouble and having a solid result for himself. Currently up 5 positions in class. Biggest mover in terms of class positions gained is Justin Clayton. He's doing a very, very solid job in the Mercedes. Currently sitting in 4th position in class and 21st overall. But yeah, sadly, it looks as though that Patrick Richter has fallen. So he's in the pit lane, and I don't think he'll be coming out after sadly having contact, I think, with the Ferrari of Emily Jones at turn 1. So unfortunate circumstance there for Patrick, but yeah, he was certainly having a solid result, even though he was the only Porsche in the entire GTE field. In saying that though, Sangali and Smith, gap's only 0.4 of a second at this time, so this is the closest battle on track. Looks as though that one of the Radicals GT3s was trying to overtake Swainpole, so Christensen's managed to move up a position. Must have had a mistake earlier on in the race that we missed when the timing was broken. So, see that that lap GT3 car. Who was that? So Christensen. No, sorry, that was Swainpole. My apologies there. It seems as though that the lap data hasn't overlapped, but looks as though that Sangali has managed to get past Smith there. So great opportunistic move there from Sangali, and that has promoted him up into the 10th position in class, 15th overall. Let's see whether Smith can come back, but also Laguerre and Schroeder. Going to go 2-1 into turn 1. This might not end well. We've got a Daytona prototype right in behind as well. So Laguerre maintaining that position. And we've got Carl Jansen trying to put a lap on these two as well. So this is those two going a lap down. Got another 20 seconds of gap before Tim Grevin will get to those two. Having said that though, see that Emerson is about a second away from Coluca as well, so he'll try and gain that overall position back. But the gap between Emerson and Mazzomo is about 35 seconds. So unless there's a huge mistake there from Mazzomo, it looks as though that Emerson will be holding on to the 5th position as he's trying to overtake Coluca, which he does. Also, this battle in GT3, you've got Christensen and Oliver. This is the closest battle on track between all the categories. Be interesting to find out what happened to Christensen, because he was actually leading this class towards the start of the race, but must have had an unfortunate mistake or a bit of contact earlier on. To see that Glenk's trying to get Oh, there's a bit of contact there from Oliver and Clink, and that will find them two falling down the field. That'll promote Swain Pole up into 7th in class. So I think there was a bit of miscommunication there from Clink and Oliver, and it looks as though that Clink will find himself in the pit lane. Got just under 3.5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. So where's Carl at the moment? He's up at the Lesmos section right now, so I think that we will have about 2 to go from where we are right now once we cross the line. But let's get a bit of an onboard from Carl. Actually fairly curious to see how top speeds are going in the Daytona prototype. Is hitting about 290 kilometers an hour, so very, very quick in a straight line. Last lap time of 40.9, so it was about 1.3 seconds quicker than Tim Grover the last time around. Tim may be nursing a bit of damage. Just have a look to see where Tim's at the moment. Just coming into the red affiliate. Saying that though, we're just going to have a quick look back at GTE field at the moment. See the better fields opened up that gap to Marinsky, 3.1 seconds at the moment, so he's looking fairly comfortable at the moment. Still got 1 minute and 15 seconds left past 1 lap, so yeah, we'll have 1 lap to go as we cross the line. There's got a couple of battles brewing between Didier Brobel and Martin Hallinan. See that has actually allowed Brobel to retake the 2nd position, Hallinan into the pit lane, so an unfortunate error there for Hallinan. Whether he took not enough fuel, we'll see, as we've got 30 seconds left on the clock roughly. But Christensen and Aznar coming into the Parabolica right now. See that Aznar has gone defensive, which will allow the cutback for Christensen. And it looks as though that Christensen's going to get the run, going to go side by side. And into the red affiliate they go. And Christensen gets the move done. So great move there from Christensen to promote himself up into 4th position in class. But going to have a look at our leader, Carl Jansen, Core Sim Racing. Been very, very dominant throughout this whole event for round number 1 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship. Certainly hasn't put a foot wrong, as you would expect from a World Championship level driver. Currently drives in the GTE, VRS World Championship in the GTE category. And he will put a lap on one of the GTE cars as he's coming around the Parabolica right now to complete lap number 27. He will take round number 1 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship here for round number 1 of Monza. So congratulations to him. Tim Greven will come across the line in about 30 seconds. We've got Marinsky crossing the line as well. He will finish in second. He was the final one to be lapped by Carl, so he will cross the line now. See whether there's any other battles right now. So Emerson was close. Asnar was overtaken last lap from Christensen, so Christensen was able to hold on to the fourth position. Williamson is the next car, or so the leading GT3 that will come across the line in about 5 seconds time. So congratulations to Fraser Williamson, winner of the GT3 category for round number 1. And he'll cross the line right now, so congratulations to him. And we've only got a couple more cars on the track. We've got Daniel Benefield, certainly hasn't put a foot wrong. Been pretty much class of the field in GTE the whole race. We've also got Simon Mazzomo in the 4th position as well, who will pretty much round out the field of the drivers that have not taken the checkered flag. So congratulations to Daniel, and he will take out round number 1 for, I think he's at Positive Sim Racing, so congratulations to him. He will take GTE category, and Mazzomo will be the final car across the line. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the race results to be able to be populated. Also, for those that are wanting to come in for a driver interview, I have left the Discord invite link into the chat as well. But yeah, bringing up the final race results here for round number 1 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship here at Monza. So Carl Janssen takes the overall win, 33.1 seconds ahead of Tim Greven. In second place, Corey Ott rounds out the top 3. Overall, Daniel Betterfield takes the GTE category win and finishes 4th overall. Simon Mazzomo rounding out the top 5 overall. Anna Marinsky in 6th. Fresh Stanley had a fairly solid result, finishing in the final podium position in GTE category and 7th overall. Dylan Screvens had a fairly eventful race as well, with Sadie Liguori, Dennis Schroeder running at 8th, 9th, and 10th in the overall category. John Emerson had a little bit of contact, which sent him a little bit further back with Corey Ott to finish 11th and 1 lap down. Emily Jones in 12th, Fredrik Jorgensen, Slaven Korluka in 14th, and Michaelis Sangali in 15th. Clint Smith in 16th. Fraser Williamson finishes in 17th, but crucially takes out the GT3 category win. Didier Brobel in the 18th and 2nd place in GT3. Justin Clayton had a very strong result to finish 3rd in class and 19th overall. Martin Christensen sadly had a small issue that had sent him a little bit further back. I think he took the GT3 pole position in the qualifying, but sadly he finishes 20th place overall. Abel Asnar in 21st, Jacques Swampole in 22nd, Mitch Oliver in 23rd, Aaron Stanley in 24th, Martin Hallinan in 25th, Philip Kraus in 26th, Brad Clank in 27th, Michael Bolden in 28th, Patrick Richter in 29th. I think we're into the retirees now, 29th, Jake Cool in 30th, 13 laps down, Troy McGuire, 31st, Philip Morton in 32nd, and rounding out the field, Shannon Manning in the 33rd position. So, looks as though that we've got one driver in for driver interview, so we'll bring in Fraser Williamson. Welcome, Fraser, to the commentary box, and congratulations on the GT3 category win. Just tell us a little bit about your race. I saw that you and Martin Christensen were battling out for the lead in at least the first 15 minutes of the race. But yeah, just tell us a little bit about the race from your perspective.
Well, we all started and it was fine. Me and Martin managed to check out from the field. We'd got 15-20 second gap. Then some GTs who had issues came back through and with force got past us, and that caused us to break up to 2.5 seconds. That gap stayed steady till the pit stops, and Martin kind of forgot to pit, so I had to take the toe instead of trying to get round on half a lap of fuel.
Okay, so that's certainly unfortunate for Martin with that small mistake. But yeah, how did you find out the conditions out there? I saw that about 1 hour before the race started that it was actually night conditions. So just tell us a little bit the visibility conditions, whether it was a little bit difficult you out there tonight.
Well, it's the first time we've done one of these races with the new flashy lights that go further and you can actually see with them. So it's quite nice. The night time feels actually quite good now. There's no issues seeing braking markers, they'll reflect. It was, for a night race, it's fairly nice. I normally hate driving at the night, and at Le Mans last weekend I refused to. So to come into a night race and feel confident was really quite good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just turning into the next round of the championship. Just going to bring the graphic up just quickly. See where we're at next week. Sadly, typically doesn't want to work. Just let me bring that one up, sadly. Sorry about that. We are at
Watkins go in for the 6 hour.
Yeah, Watkins Glen. Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, what are your thoughts heading into Watkins Glen of next week?
I am probably the only person on my team who hates Watkins Glen with a passion. Can't stand the place. It's going to be a 50-degree track. It's going to be horrific. So if I turn up next week, it'll be a miracle if I finish.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope to see you next week at Watkins Glen for round number 2. But yeah, just before we let you go, mate, is there anyone that you would like to thank before we let you go?
Just all the guys in the team in Craig's setup shop for the setup this week. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. All right, well, thanks very much for that, Fraser, and certainly hope to see you next week for round number 2. But if not, certainly hope to see you for round number 3, as we have over the past season or so.
See ya.
All right, so that was Fraser Williamson, taking out the GT3 category win. As you can see, the schedule for the Season 3 IMSA Sportscar Championship, which will be brought to you by ApexRacingTV, the 10:45 AM GMT split. So we've got Watkins Glen next week, and then the next couple of rounds of the championship, Nürburgring in the long pan endurance wet configuration. Then Mosport, certainly one to have some classic races there. And then further down the championship, we've got series regulars like Road America, Le Mans, Suzuka. Interesting one of Virginia International Raceway. That'll be one of the classic ones to watch. But also we've got Bathurst rounding out the championship as well, which will be great to see. You'll be able to catch all of these IMSA Sportscar Championship broadcasts on Apex Racing TV at the 10:45 AM GMT slot. On Apex Racing TV's YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Twitch channel as well. But just before we let you go, I'm going to tell you about the upcoming broadcasts on the Apex Racing TV channel. Sadly, I haven't got a graphic like I have for the last season, which I will have to get onto very, very soon. But having said that, though, the upcoming broadcasts that we have coming up for this week on Apex Racing TV, we've got the BSR MX5 Pro Series, or round number 13 at Watkins Glen. That will be starting at 2015 BST or 1915 GMT, then we've got the BSRTC Pro Series in the Kia. Also at Watkins Glen for round number 8, that will be at 1910 GMT. And then not as many broadcasts this week. So with the start of the season, then we've got the Prix Sportscar Championship on Monday for round number 4 at Daytona Road. That will be at 12:15 a.m. GMT. So that's one of the US broadcasts that we have on ApexRacingTV. But I think that will pretty much wrap up the broadcast here for round number 1 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship here at Monza. Hopefully we'll be able to have Daniel Leak back next week. Sadly, he had some commitments that he was not able to attend tonight's broadcast tonight, but we certainly look forward to him coming back next week. But we'd also like to thank everyone for tuning in and supporting us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch as well. And just like to thank you and have a very nice week. And I hope to see you either for one of our upcoming broadcasts on Apex Racing TV or next week for round number 2 of the IMSA Sportscar Championship at Watkins Glen. So thanks very much and take care.